Welcome to Keep Moving Forward, the Success Formula podcast. I'm your host, Gordon Des. In each episode, we dive deep into the mindset, the struggles, and the breakthroughs that shape a meaningful life. I'll be sharing the raw, unfiltered stories of my own journey, from my new inspirational memoir, and sitting down with special guests from my past and current life, and ones who've also faced their own turning points. This isn't just about success by theory. It's about building a life of purpose, resilience, and relentless forward motion. Because no matter where you are, no matter what you're facing, the formula is simple. Keep learning, keep growing, keep moving forward. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome to another episode. My name is Gordon Des. I'm really excited to bring you my next guest on the show today. I haven't seen her in a long time, so this is a special treat for me as well. This is my cousin, Kim Lane, and she is the daughter of my Uncle Wally. So you'll read about Kim and Carrie and my Uncle Wally, my mom's brother, and his wife, my Auntie Shirley, and that's Kim's parents. So I'm really excited to have you on the show. Kim, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So, Kim, have you had a chance to get a copy of my book at all?
I do actually have a copy on order. It has not arrived yet. It's supposed to be coming tomorrow.
Awesome. So thank you for that.
I talked to my mom and dad, and my dad said he just finished it a few days ago. Your mom had brought it to him.
Right.
So he got a good chance to read it. I didn't get a chance to talk to him. I just talked to my mom for a couple minutes. So
right.
He blew through it. She said she was going to start it, and I've got it coming. So I guess I'll start it this weekend.
Awesome. So I can think of, off the top of my head, 3 times in the book where I've mentioned you, not particularly in this order, but once when I came out, I believe it was in 1980, and that was the photo that you asked me about us sitting on your front steps with your dog and your cat. And then you guys lived in Langley for a period of time. And then when Susie and I moved to St. Albert, and those are the 3 times I specifically mentioned in the book. Diving into the book, and you're going to read this on the weekend when you get into the book. When I was in grade 7, I had a huge crush on this girl in grade 6. See, we had a grade 6-7 split class, and her name was Ariel. And I was feeling a little bit self-conscious because, I was gaining some weight and didn't really feel very confident about myself, and had a couple of incidents, which you'll read in the book, that really confirmed my suspicions that I wasn't really good looking. And just before spring break, we had a dance in the classroom. So our teacher, Mrs. Hartup, she pushed all the desks to the side and stuff, and we got to have a dance in the classroom. Basically, for the whole dance, I was a wallflower. And then she announced the last song, and it was a slow song. I said, man, if I'm going to do anything, this is my chance. I'm going to ask Ariel to dance. And I did, and she said yes, and grade 6 and 7, right? Pretty innocent, just swaying to the music back and forth. But I was just blown away. And so I just couldn't stop thinking about her. I went home that day and looked up her number in the phone book. Yeah, we had to use phone books back then, right? And I called her and asked her if she wanted to go around with me. So back then, that was the term, boyfriend and girlfriend, to go around. And she said yes. And wow, this is so good. I was so excited. And then it hit me. Oh, my mom's sending me to Edmonton the next day for the whole spring break to come see you guys. And my heart was just breaking for her because I never had a girlfriend before. And I just wanted to be with her so badly. And this was going to erase all these bad feelings I had about myself. And so I asked her, I said, do you have any time today? She says, no, I got to babysit. I was like, okay. And so the whole time I was there, don't get me wrong, we had a great time. And you'll see in that picture of us on your front porch, I'm smiling and stuff. And it was a great time. But in the background, I kept thinking about her and kept wanting to get back. And then when I got back, she broke my heart and said, we can't be boyfriend and girlfriend anymore. And anyway, you'll read about all that story in the book. But yeah, some great times for sure. And we've had a lot of great experiences. I am 58 right now, and it's not polite to ask a woman her age, but how old are you, Kim?
I turned 56 on my birthday this year. So we're 2 years, I guess, apart. I thought we were maybe a little bit more, but I guess we're 2 years apart.
Yeah. And then your sister, Carrie, is another 2 years younger than you?
She's 3 years younger.
3 years, yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, we've had a lot of great times together. I remember coming to your place and playing board games and stuff. Well, I think Life was our most popular board game that we played. Remember that one?
Gosh, I was trying to think after we had set this up. I was thinking about different times that we had spent together. And the more I thought about it, the more things that, come back in your memory. And I was remembering like camping trips and going to your house in Langley and the different things when I lived there and you weren't very far from us. And
right.
The amount of time we spent together, and we did different different things. And I was like, oh, these are all great memories. You kind of just push them to the back. You don't really think about
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Life gets busy and we go on with our lives, and yeah, they're there when we think about them for sure. And we always did like little skits and plays and stuff. Then we invite our parents to come and watch them, right? That was
Yes.
really, really good. So a period of
That,
time you lived in Langley. Do you remember how old were you and how long were you in Langley for? Because most of your life you've been in Edmonton, Sherwood Park area, so on and so forth, right?
yeah, I actually was thinking back, and it was Christmas time or maybe spring break, and I was in grade 3.
Okay.
And then we moved to Edmonton when I was at Christmas break of grade 4. So I
Okay.
guess I was 10 or whatever you are at that age.
Right.
Yeah. So grade 3, grade 4 is when I was in the Langley area. It
So I'm
was pretty quick.
assuming that you guys made the move because of your dad's work, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We moved a
Okay.
lot when I was young for his work.
And you lived in the Brookswood area. And that Brookswood area now, you would not even recognize it. I went by there the other day and there's a whole bunch of abandoned homes. They're all boarded up. Like the neighborhood is just gone to crap. If you want, just send me a private message of your house number if you know it, and I'll go by there and I'll take a picture next time I'm in Langley and I'll let you know if it's still there or not. But the whole
Yeah.
neighborhood has just changed. It's kind of sad, actually. But my buddy Dave, who I mentioned in the book, you met Dave before.
Yeah. They lived just down the road from us. I
That's
think
right.
just down
That's right.
close to the school, didn't
Yes,
he?
yeah, he lived in the same neighborhood in that around the corner. And yeah, his house there, they have this big wrought iron fence all around the house, and it's a very, very bad neighborhood now. So we never went to the same school. I believe you went to Brookswood Elementary, is that correct?
I think so. Yeah, I was that school right just down the road, and then you crossed through the field and then went to the school. So
That's right. Yeah,
I'm
Brookswood
sure
Elementary. Yeah, and I went to Simon, so we were never in the same school. Not that we'd be in the same grade anyway, but it'd be kind of fun to be in the same school. Great to have you on the show. Lots of great memories, going back, and I'm sure so many people have great memories. And it's all about touching base with people. Don't lose that connection, because I think it's so important to have those memories and those family connections. But what I want to ask you, and I'm asking all my guests this, to share a time in your life, Kim, where you faced adversity and how you overcame that by moving forward.
And I was thinking about different things when we were setting up this time. And
Mm-hmm.
really, I was thinking about a lot of it was, there's always lots of things when you look back and go, oh, that didn't go as I planned, or that type of thing. But I think really for me, there's a few things that stuck out, because when I got married, my first marriage, we were thinking we wanted to have children, and
Right.
it just didn't work out for us.
Okay.
So that was something that just took some time. Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to proceed ahead? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do? When we ended up that we went through the whole adoption process, and my son he's 25 now, but he was adopted.
Okay.
But it was a bit of a process, and it took a lot more time, and all these things. And you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to meet the birth parents and go through the whole introduction. It's like a job interview and all these things. And I kept thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But we had our eye on the prize, and the prize at the end was, if it all works well, then maybe we'll get to take this new baby home, and this will be the start of our family. So that was one that really stuck out in my mind, that you just had to keep doing the steps, and you just had to suck it up and do the things you didn't want to do so you could get where you wanted to go.
Absolutely.
And that was definitely a big one for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the end, it all went well, obviously, and he's been a great part of your life, and very proud of him. I know you are, right?
He's a big guy now. That's
Yeah.
great. I still remember him back when he was little. He just had a birthday a couple weeks ago, and I said, how is this possible that you're 25 years old? Because I don't feel like I should be old enough to have a 25-year-old at my house.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
and he said, well, Mom, I'm not a kid anymore.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
So tell me about that, because a lot of people have never gone through that adoption process. So this is a little bit different than what we would think as a layperson. I don't know if that's the right terminology or not, but for a person that hasn't gone through adoption process, I would think, and I don't know if this is based on just sitcoms or movies or whatever, that you don't necessarily meet the birth parents, but you did.
Yeah, we did. We chose to go through it's like a private adoption agency more so,
Okay.
because there's government adoptions and then there's private placement adoptions. So we went with an agency that works in Alberta that's a child placement adoption. So you kind of put together almost like a little resume of yourself and your family and your background, and kind of have some ideas of what you're hoping to have for a connection, because a lot of the birth mothers coming into their program want some form of connection, but maybe it's not visits regularly, but maybe it's a letter or it's some photos here and there,
Okay.
or maybe it is a visit once in a while. So you kind of design what it is that you want.
Right.
And then you put that all up in a biography type of thing. And then they have a book that when a birth mother potentially comes in and they flip through the book and they read these stories, and then they pick out 2 or 3 families maybe that they want to meet and have more connection with, and see if we can kind of work out a deal as such, really. Like, I mean, you're paying the fees and stuff.
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
pay for the fees. You're paying the fees.
Right.
And they get counseling and all these things they offer there for the birth mothers too. So
Okay.
we just happen to be in the book at the right period of time, and
Wow.
somebody found our group, and it just
Unreal.
worked out.
So it's sort of like a
Yeah.
lottery process, eh? Where you're one of a few families and you're just hoping your number gets picked, right?
You're just hoping you're the right one. Yeah, and ours actually worked out quite well, is because she just kept going back and looking, and the social worker said that she was having a terrible time. She couldn't narrow it down. And she knew she was running out of time, and she had to make up her mind. She, I guess, just closed her eyes and picked one, and it was our file. And she phoned me that night, and we ended up talking for probably 2 hours or something that day. And it was actually her due date was the day she called me, and she said, but nothing's happening. It's probably going to be a couple weeks. They called us the next day, and she had the baby overnight. So we had an overnight to think about it, and off we went. So
he wasn't even born yet when you had this deal done, right?
Nope, he wasn't. We thought he was maybe
how exciting.
Yeah, and then she phoned the next day, and we were all at work, and my husband said to me, we got to go. And I said, it's Saturday. Like, where are we going? It's busy. And he said, we have a baby. And I said, I don't know if I'm ready. And he said, ready or not. So we packed up, and she was actually in Calgary, and we were in Grand Prairie. So we packed everything real quick for an overnight bag and headed to Calgary.
Wow.
And
Unreal.
we met them both on Sunday morning for real. She got discharged, and she went home, and we grabbed him, put him in the car seat, and off we went home. So
now, was there any talk of, or any agreement of visitation? Like, could she stay in contact or visits, or was that even discussed? Obviously it was, I would think, right?
Yeah, and she didn't want necessarily a visit. She was open to it. If we wanted to, we could, ask her and see how she felt about it. She really wanted a brief letter, an update, and maybe a couple pictures every year, kind of on his birthday. So we honored that for many years. And then as the internet grew, we kind of got to know her that way. She was on Facebook, so her and I are actually Facebook friends, but her life now is quite different, and not everybody in her life now knows about this whole process.
Right.
She's never been married. She's never had any more children. She's just a single person. And she just asked me not to splash anything publicly about that on there. But now she can look at pictures and see and follow him whenever she wants to, because she can look through my stuff and see him. So
so has he ever met her?
We did set it up one time. He did want to meet her. He was about 12. He had a lot of questions. And I had called her and approached her and said, he has questions. I don't know how you feel. He would kind of like to meet you, but I think he's nervous about it. And she said, absolutely, I would meet you. And we happen to be in Vancouver for a work function, and she lives in Vancouver now. And she came to a restaurant near the hotel. Him and I walked over, and I think we spent 3 or 4 hours with her. She brought a friend just for comfort. I think we sat for 3 or 4 hours at the restaurant, shut the restaurant down. I think it was midnight. He was young. I was tired all day, but we just talked. And she told him, you ask me anything you want, and I'll answer the best I can. And he's never brought it up since.
Filled his curiosity.
Yeah. And, he's had a few questions about his birth father, but she fell out of contact with him. And we have some basic medical history and that type of thing from his mother provided, but we haven't had any contact with him. Every now and then he'll say something about, I wonder what my birth dad is like. And it's just kind of general curiosity, I think, but never to the point where he was really excited about trying to track him down or anything.
Okay. So you have 2 kids though, right? Tell us about your daughter.
Yeah, my daughter is just turned 16. So I think she's the same age as your daughter. Yours is a little bit older, but
Yeah.
yeah, your youngest and my youngest are the same.
Yeah.
She's a handful
She
in a
is the
good way.
spitting image of you, though. Like every time I see her on Facebook, you share pictures of her and stuff like that. It's like, wow, that is you.
And we see so many traits of like my mom and my sister, like the hair color and the skin color. And so much of her things are just like my mom. It's amazing. We think, oh my gosh, she's just like, she's just like my family. But
Right.
then you see her with my husband too, and you can kind of pick certain things out. She was quite a surprise, I have to say, to us.
Okay.
Because I didn't think I would ever have any children biologically myself.
Yeah.
And she was kind of, well, I guess we're doing this late in life, because she was born when I was 40. So
Right.
it was a bit of a shock coming to me at that age that, holy smokes, now we're going to have another newborn in the house.
Now that's kind of interesting, because when we had Gianna, it was the same age, and Catherine is about, I'm trying to think now, she is 3 years younger than I am. She's a year younger than you, but we had concerns about her age, her ticking biological clock. So I have 4 kids total, obviously Corey and Krista, you'll read in the book. And then when I was remarried, Noah in 2006, and Gianna was born in 2009. And we were kind of concerned about her age, and we were offered the test to see if our baby had Down syndrome or not. Did that come up at all with your doctor?
Yeah, he did offer us testing along the way, and I hoed and hummed about it, but I thought, well, do I want to know? Do I not want to know? So anyway, we did opt for doing it.
Okay.
But he gave me the paperwork to go do the test, and I went through all the hassle of the blood work, because I don't do blood very well.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
We had done it like 3 days too soon for the genetic markers to be in, so I had to wait another week and then do the whole damn thing all over again. So, but we did do it because I was concerned with my age and being a first. So
yeah, you've never been through the process at all, and so on and so forth. So that's great. Yeah, she is a great girl for sure. You are very blessed. A couple of the questions I want to ask you. So, being the life that you have lived, here you are now at 56 years old. And looking beautiful, I must say. What do you think your purpose in life is? If someone was to ask you, Kim, what's your purpose for being here on this earth? What do you think that would be?
I think I would have to say, bottom line, I think I'm a people person. Like I'm a people pleaser type person. I try to remember details about people, trying to make people feel good. If you can do something to help out, or if you can help out and lend a helping hand. I just think back to my time with McDonald's and all the training you did and all the new people you brought in. And some people have a natural knack for that kind of business when I was owning my restaurants. Other people, you really have to pull that out. But it's trying to get the best of everybody and get people to come out of their shell and warm up. And knowing the little things about people, I really enjoy that. You remember maybe not necessarily their birthday, but you remember that they're having a birthday in such and such a time, or you remember the name of their kids or that kind of thing. And I think I just have a knack for that, and I really enjoy that. And I think it just makes you really feel like you can have those connections with people along the way.
And obviously, with owning, how many restaurants did you own in the end?
I had 4 at the end.
Okay. And so obviously, you've touched a lot of lives, right?
Yeah, I had up to, I think near the end, I had almost 250 employees between the 4 restaurants.
Unreal. Good for you. Yeah, obviously, you're a great person. I've always thought that. And to have you as a boss, I think that'd be just cool. And I can see you in that role. I can see you really caring about your employees too, and to have that many employees that you're responsible for, and to do it with such a caring heart, that's a great thing for sure.
And I think I always really enjoyed that part, even though a lot of times I think, I have to go to work today, and, I have to do the things that are not fun. But I really enjoyed the chance to get to know people. And you think these people give you their whole day, and they're relying on you for their well-being and their family's finances and these kind of things. And I think you just really have to take that to heart and really treat people well. That's really my thing. You really put your best foot forward all the time.
Good for you. Can you offer a piece of advice to my listeners on how to be resilient?
I would say, in my lifetime, I think your mom and my dad are very similar. You can feel sorry for yourself and you can let yourself drag down, but my dad always said, quit moping around and get yourself going. You're not going to do yourself any good by sitting around the house feeling sorry for yourself. Get back in your routine, get back on that horse and get going again. And I think that's always stuck with me. You have a bad day or something and things happen and you think, I don't want to go out and see people. I don't want to do anything. My dad would always say to me, get back out there. You don't feel well, get back to work, Kim. What are you doing? You're not going to do yourself any favors. dust yourself off. There's no excuses. You just kind of got to keep moving, and that's what you do. Because what are your other options? Like, you just sit here and just wallow and die, or what are you going to do? Like, you just have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off, and off you go. That's how I think I've always been raised that way. So to me, that's just second nature. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. And it must have been great to have your dad as that role model, because I mean, you obviously know your dad better than I do, but he's my uncle and I've always looked up to him. He's actually my godfather. I'm not sure if you know that or not. And I mean, obviously now if something happened to my mom, I wouldn't come and live with him or anything, but I'm a little bit too old for that. But he's always been a go-getter. He's always been that guy that you turn to for advice, or that guy you look up to, or that guy that's always there to give you that positive reinforcement, right?
Yeah, and he's always been that way. He's always been somebody, like, you just watch him and he's like a whirlwind. He's always got something going. It's the next thing, he doesn't sit well. He has to be like up and at it, and he's off doing this or something, and he just doesn't know how to relax. And I mean, it drives some of us crazy. And I know my mom sometimes says, I wish he'd just sit and just take a load off. Can't keep doing things like this.
Yeah, that's just not him, though.
No, it's not. He loves a challenge, and I think he's just always been that way.
Right. And I think that's important to know for my listeners and you guys listening here today, is if you haven't got that person in your life, and whether it's a family member or a friend or a neighbor or anybody that is really acting as your mentor, not necessarily a mentor, but that person that's going to be there for you no matter what, and giving you that motivation to keep going, to, as Kim says, dust yourself off and, just get out there again and quit moping around. You need that person in your life. I can't tell you how important that is, to have that support. Like, I was in some relationships before, like you talked about, you were married before and obviously divorced. And I was married and divorced 3 times before I found my soulmate. I never really used to like admitting that. I was sort of ashamed of it. And obviously with releasing the book and having to tell all those stories, you have to get past that. But it's important to have your spouse, for sure, to support you as well. But if you listeners, if you don't have that person in your life, find that person. They are there for you. You just got to open your eyes a little bit and make sure you have that person in your court cheering you on. They're in the grandstands, go, go, go. You need that for sure.
I think you definitely need to have that person and that support system. And maybe it's not a person that you see every day, but it's a person you can reach out to when you need, somebody just to give you some words of wisdom or some motivation to get back on track. I think it's that kind of person really does it. Because for me, I know it's my dad. Sometimes I don't even talk to him. I just think, what would my dad say? And then I would be like, okay, yep, time to get going.
And you would know. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, that brings us to an end of this episode. I want to take a moment to say a heartfelt thank you to my cousin Kim for joining us today. Your insight and your story and your energy have been truly inspiring. So I want to thank you for that, Kim. It's conversations like this that remind us why we do what we do, and to connect, to grow, and to light the way for others. So thank you again, Kim, for sharing your time and your wisdom with our listeners. It's been an absolute honor having you on the show.
Well, thank you. It's been great to see you again, and it was great to help you contribute and do my little part to get your book going and get off the ground.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for being a part of this journey. If today's episode moved you, inspired you, or even just made you think a little bit deeper, don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a comment or a review. And goodbye for now. Thanks so much.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Keep Moving Forward, the Success Formula podcast. If today's conversation moved you, imagine what over 480 pages of truth, resilience, and real-life strategies could do. My brand new memoir, Keep Moving Forward, the Success Formula, is part story, part survival guide, and it's written for you. Grab your copy today on Amazon or wherever you buy your books, and let's keep walking this journey together. I'm Gordon Dez. Thanks for listening. Thanks for believing. And as always, keep moving forward. See you on the next episode.